Hey everybody, thank you and welcome back. Christina. This is 40 and Unfiltered. This is probably my third episode. So if you've come back, I've tried to do some changes, I've tried to do some updates, I've tried to look back at my old videos and be like, hey, you look stupid, let's change this. I've gotten some advice, still in the process of getting more advice on how to do this. So if you stuck it out this long and you're at this video, I am hoping I'm doing better, and I'm hoping that I'm trying to improve a little bit. I appreciate y'all here today, and I appreciate you coming back and listening to me. Today's little episode, I've based off something kind of near and dear to my heart. So my daughter is special needs, and this episode will kind of be a little bit about that, I guess, and the accessibility of places that don't have the right means for children who are not ambulatory and have incontinent things going on. So let's give you a little background. My daughter, she is 8 going on 9 here in August, a couple months. Still feels like tomorrow sometimes because she's growing. And she cannot sit up. She cannot walk. I am fully responsible to make sure she's dressed every day, hair brushed. She can't do any of that herself. I also have to change her outfits, and also she wears briefs or a tent if you're in the medical field. She's a wonderful little girl. She's amazing. She's my heart. I tell you, she's my heart outside my body most days. And so recently we took a family trip, which we don't take them often because it's just been hard getting older, and there's just so much going on. And then finances, obviously. You need, obviously, finances to be in the up and up before you can go anywhere. But so we recently went to Pigeon Forge. Now, from where we live, it's about a 2.5 hour drive. It's not far. It's great. We can actually go there, spend the weekend, and be back Monday for school or whatever. So it's nice. It's very nice that we can do this, especially with the family, and it was great to be able to go. We had recently went to Country Cascades in Pigeon Forge. Wonderful place. I want to tell you something. For accessibility, and even the room we had, the room was wonderful. We have a wheelchair, and it's a pretty beastie looking wheelchair. It's not huge, but it's not little either. And why I didn't think about it, but I never got an accessible room. But even saying so, I actually love the room we were in. It actually allowed us, even just as a basic room, gave us plenty of space for her. Now, I should have gotten an accessible room. Probably would have made it a little easier, but it wasn't terrible. And I was able to get her wheelchair in and out. I was able to park it so that everybody had a spot, to move around. And the whole hotel was beautiful. It was very, very accessible for her. Even the pool. I mean, I did not, because she is getting heavier. So technically, to that extent, it wasn't that accessible, but it was nice because you could just walk in the pool. Now she's about 65 pounds. So carrying her in the pool isn't such a big deal as to being able to hold her in the water and carry her out. So, when you're coming out of the water, things tend to get heavier for some reason because you're in there and you're buoyant and so and so. But other than that, they also had like a splash pad in the inside for the kids, and outside they also had like a little area where they could play in the water. So it was nice. I actually wheeled her wheelchair right into like the little pool they had for the little kids, and she was able to play. So, but on that aspect of it, the hotel was wonderful for accessibility. But on the way there, before we even got there to the hotel, we still had maybe another 15-20 minute drive to the hotel from the exit. So we stopped at Buc-ee's. We're like, let's go to Buc-ee's, right? Besides, the store was extremely packed. Like, you could barely move around in there, which is great. I'm glad they get so much business there. For us, I had to take her in to change her, because when we got there, it's already been 2 hours. I need to get her out of the car. I need to change her. I need to feed her. At that time, I think she was due for her medicine. So I had to get her out of the car, put her in her chair, which isn't a big deal, bring her inside, and then we get to the bathrooms. And now they have the basic, like, children tables, infant tables that you fold down and you put your kid up there and you change them. I did attempt to do that, but then I thought about it and I was like, no. One, she's really long. She's really, really long. Two, it's very public. Like, there's people walking by all the time. And three, it wasn't going to hold her. They're only usually rated for like 50 pounds, and she's 65. And I didn't want to take that chance. So I got her back in her chair, and I saw the handicap stall at the corner, and I was like, let me go look and see if they have at least a bench table in there. Because, I figured it's such a public place. It's a place where people travel through all the time. I guess they got to expect that they're going to get people who are going to need to be changed. Um, adult size, even adults have to get changed. So you take your, people there and you're like, oh, let's go to the handicap stall. They're going to have something for you. They didn't even have like a table whatsoever in there. And the stall was a pretty good size. It wasn't terribly small. Obviously they have to be bigger to make room for wheelchairs and of those things of those nature. But there wasn't a table in there at all. So I was like, what am I going to do? Okay. Being that it is a very public place, and I literally only parking spot I found was a handicap spot, luckily. So I didn't have to walk across the parking lot with her, which is not a big deal. Like, it would be different if she was doing it herself and needed a handicap spot, and you know what I mean, she had to be closer to the building. Me, a lot of times, sometimes I'll at Walmart, I won't even park in a handicap spot, because like I'm the one taking her out, and a lot of times the only reason why I park in a handicap spot is so I give myself enough room to get her wheelchair through. So I take her back to the car, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna change her in the trunk. Like, I have a minivan, just to give you a picture. I have a minivan. So I opened the minivan trunk. I had to pull stuff out of there because, of course, now we're traveling, right? So I had to pull stuff out of the trunk, fold the seats down, and then now I'm literally in the handicap spot in the front of the building. So I pulled the seats down and I get it all set up, and I lay her in the back, across the back of the minivan, and call my husband. Actually called me at the same time, luckily, because I was like, hey, I kind of need you to come hold up a blanket so we can get her changed, because now she's becoming an adult. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but she's 8 years old, but let's be clear, she is definitely becoming a woman. She's changing. She's got those parts of her that would normally signify that she is a growing lady. And I do not need to get into detail. I know you can pretty much paint the picture for yourself. So we've got her laid out. I'm just trying to like get her diaper on real quick, which we call it a brief. I don't like calling it a diaper. It irks me when I say that, because I do not like the word diaper at all for her, because she's getting older and it just sounds horrible. I don't know why that irks me. I just don't know. So anyway, so we get her brief up, and we pull it up. I get it up, get her changed. And at this point I had to change her pants because my cat's over here showing his feet. But I had to get her brief on. I had to change her pants. Luckily, I had extra clothes. Obviously, I have extra clothes. I'm traveling, but I also had them laid out because Lord only knows this happens a lot sometimes. And her attend moves underneath her booty, and she gives herself a wedgie, and then she'll leak through sometimes. So that's the only crazy part about traveling and just having to wear briefs all the time. So we get her changed, and I've noticed a lot of places like Walmart, Target, the mall, even the mall, like there's no place to be able to change kids like that. Like, you have kids, adults, like it doesn't matter what the age is. They're going to want to get out. They're going to want to go do things, and they can't do things literally you have a certain time frame. Like, when you have kids or adults in briefs or attends as in the medical field, I guess, when they are wearing them, you only have like a certain time frame. Like, I'm sure we can hold our pee, okay, and our bodily functions we can hold them for a good while. You know what I mean? So we can go out and we can use the bathroom normally. So if we're out, we're like, hey, I gotta go pee. Let's go to the restroom. Let's go pee. Let's be on our way. It's not easy for them. I say them as in the community of special needs incontinent community, because there's so many extra steps that you have to take. When you're leaving, you got to make sure you have extra clothes, you have extra depends or briefs or whatever you would like to call them. And not only that, you're out and you're like, okay, so we got to go to the restroom. We got to change you. What am I supposed to do? Change my 65-pound daughter on the floor of a bathroom? Listen, I could barely get her up when she's home off the floor, and it takes two of us, like me and my husband. Before, it was so easy. She was so little, so I was able to go out the door, get her off bed. I used to carry her to the car, you know what I mean, like, and leave her wheelchair in the car a lot of times, because my van isn't handicapped, so I have to take her and put her in her special car seat, and then physically put her wheelchair in the car, which is I want to say it's at least 40 to 50 pounds. It probably weighs just as much as her or more. So I had to put that in my trunk. Now, I can't. There's no way. So a lot of these bathrooms do not have the resources to be able to change adults or children of a larger scale on tables or restrooms. And now I have seen there are people advocating as well for this. And I know some Walmarts have made some changes to their stores to accommodate people that need the extra space and the extra room and the bigger tables to be changed. But it is disheartening for some of us because there's so many things out there when you're a parent or a caregiver in the special needs community, and you're like, oh, I wish this was different, because it just makes it harder for the person in the chair and harder for the person taking care of the person in the chair. And I mean, that's something I struggle with a lot, is not wanting to really go do much, because I want to be able to take her with me everywhere, and I get mom guilt. Because I'm like, well, she can't do it, so I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like, or even going to people's houses. I mean, that's something that I'm going to have to experience a lot of, and I'm going to have to just deal with. I know. But even going to people's houses, I'm like, I've got to take her a special tomato chair. I'm going to need to get her in there. I'm going to have to carry her, I think, up the stairs. Like, there's just so many things that, like, that part of me has to deal with. But there are places that we could go to that we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to deal with it. We should be able to go to Walmart, go to Target, go to Buc-ee's, enjoy being there. Because after I had gone to Buc-ee's and noticed there was no changing tables, I was so exhausted after having changing her in the car. I didn't even want to go back in the store. I did not want to go back in the store. I was like, I'm done. I'm already exhausted, and just I think my brain was just like, I don't want to do this. So I put her back in the car, put her TV back on, and I just waited for everybody to come out. Because it really is a struggle with a lot of places, I've noticed, to go in and be able to. And I mean, like, maybe that's me. Maybe you're like, maybe you're just being dramatic. Maybe you're just crazy and you should have just went back in the store. I don't understand why you're being like this. I think if you're not a special needs parent, or you go through these things and your brain's constantly like, okay, am I going to be able to take her here? Is she going to be able to do these things? Because I need to make sure there's access. I got to make sure that I'm able to change her, because like I said, you have a limited time frame of when you can go to places, because you got to, I can hold my pee for 4 hours probably, but she can't. And I have to make sure in at least 2 hours, I've got to be able to change her. Like, I give myself and sometimes sooner. It just depends on how much she goes. Like, she could fill her attend up like a lot, and I'm like, oh crap, I got to change her, because otherwise what's going to happen, she's going to flood, and I'm going to have to change her pants and everything else. So it's just hard, I'm sure, for a lot of people out there as well, and I'm sure some of you can relate a little bit. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I want to go here? Do I want to do this? And sometimes I just push myself to go. and try to make it work, because I also want her to have a good time. I also want her to be out there and experience and stuff. And I've noticed as well that parks have gotten really a lot better. And there are actually some parks where you can actually take your kids in a wheelchair too, which is amazing. I really would love to visit one of those one day, but there's none around here. So there are parks as well. But I have noticed that sometimes you could even call or get a hold of somebody from a park. Like there's a park close to me, not my hometown park, but there's a park close to me that I really like to go to. It's very pretty. And I like to walk. I like the little town. So, and I don't know if you're familiar with Damascus, Virginia, but I had actually made a request because I really like their park. I do. I thought it was adorable, these places to go see, things like that. And then sometimes they hold little festivals and, trail days, things like that. And we love to go down there. But their swing, their child swing that they have down there that's rated supposedly for disabled or little kids maybe. I'm not exactly sure what kind of swing it is. If it comes down, it's supposed to lock. I had put Ariel in it. Excuse me, I said her name. Wasn't meaning to do that, but I put my daughter in it. And yes, her name's Ariel. I guess you've kind of figured that out if you don't already know me. But I put her in there and she's kind of like sliding up the bottom because the top piece wasn't locking. It wasn't reclined enough. So obviously she's not mobile and she has to have that little bit of a recline sometimes because she likes to sit up, or she doesn't sit up straight enough. So she'll kind of like slouch down. So I ended up mentioning it to somebody that worked for that does the cleanup, the maintenance, things like that. And he had gone and showed, I guess, the head person, like, hey, the swing, we kind of should get something like this. It's for disabled kids. But apparently they said their swing's not broken, that it's fine. I'm like, that's fine if you have a regular child sitting in it, because it's not going to work for anybody who's disabled. Even a taller child or even teen could fit in this thing, but it wasn't gonna work because it doesn't lock. It didn't have any straps, which I can understand not having straps, but it wasn't rated for anybody that was disabled. I'm gonna be honest. For somebody who has a disabled child and put one in there, it didn't work. Like, I was having to hold her while swinging her because I didn't want her to fall out. But that's a lot of parks I've noticed have been very accommodating and making new changes and stuff like that, so that kids of all statures can come out and enjoy being at the park. And I think, being me, like I said, it's hard for me to go places because I'm always worried. Like, that's the one thing I worry about. I think a lot of places need to make changes to make us feel less worried about where we're going and being like, oh, I know where I'm going to go food shopping, or, oh, I know where I'm going to go to the park. Like, it needs to be more secure for us because we want our children, our family members, regardless of age, to be able to go out and enjoy themselves, because they're important too. And last year, my daughter was blessed enough to be in an adaptive baseball league, and I absolutely loved it for her. I'm sure she had a great time. From what I could see in her expressions, she really did have fun enjoying it with her friends, and her family that came out, and to see her enjoy this was wonderful. And I love that people are doing these things for kids, and being able for her to enjoy, to be able to be a kid. Because a lot of times, I mean, she's stuck at school all week. She has her therapy. And we try to do our best to go camping every year. And that's another, let's not get into that, but I guess we are, right? Because camping's fun, but it can definitely be a challenge. There is a campground here, and they have a few oh my God, they have a few accessible campsites, which is wonderful. So that allows us to be able to camp, and we don't have to worry about stairs, because when she was little, it wasn't so hard to be able to like walk her up and down hill, because I would just carry her. But now that she's older and she's 65 or more, like she's 65 pounds, like she's very tall too. And she can be very rigid at times, because she'll like just randomly, while you're carrying her, she'll, let's stretch. No, no, ma'am, we are not stretching right now. Mom can't do this when you're stretching. So, but and she's very good about holding on. Like I can actually still pick her up and carry her, and she'll lean on my shoulder, and she'll let me carry her. But I don't want to really be doing that anymore because it's getting a little dangerous because she's getting a lot more heavier. And so wheelchair, and I keep whacking my mic. Sorry if you're hearing that. But um, so wheelchair, and then we have a Hoyer lift for her, and it is in another room because as of right now, she really doesn't need it, and she has a wonderful nurse who helps her out every day, and so she does a lot of the lifting for me, and she'll give her baths and stuff like that, so I don't have to worry about carrying her back and forth to the bathroom, which isn't far, but when it's wet and having a walk and she's heavy, and there's so many factors that scare me. So, but other than that, I'm just hoping that one day that we're going to wake up and people are just going to start being, places are going to be like, okay, we need to put this in here. We need to put in some more things for people who are disabled so that we can accommodate families, because it's hard to go out and do stuff when you're worried about if you're going to be able to bring your person with you. And like I said, I get guilty because I'm like, I don't want to go, because if she can't go, I don't want to go, because I want her to experience life. You know what I mean? No matter what age she is. Is she going to be 30 and stuck at home because she's not going to be able to go anywhere? Because people don't want to accommodate people in a wheelchair, one, and two, accommodate people with incontinent issues or incontinent things. I don't want to say issues. I feel like everything I say is terrible, but I swear to God, I have nothing but the purest love for everybody with incontinent, let's say, problems, I guess. I don't know. Take it as you like. But I think the main issue is having a place to be able to change somebody when you're out. Like I said, no matter the age. And I think we need to start making this more of a louder problem, maybe we should say, and start screaming from the top of our lungs to make a difference for kids and people and adults and everyone that want to go out and be able to travel, for one, to other places and not have to worry about like, hey, I know when we get here, this place will have a place to be able to change so and so that we can stop, get something to eat, relax, and then move on and go. Because like we used to travel a lot when she was younger and go up from where we are. We're in Tennessee, and we used to travel to like Rhode Island from where I'm originally from. And we used to like to do that when she was younger and a little bit more agile. I'm able to just lay the back seat down, go, you know what I mean? And be on my way. But now that she's getting older, we're finding problems with traveling because they're like, we're going to have to lay down the back seat. Now I've seen things such as like on Amazon, which I'll probably end up getting, not gonna lie, because I kind of like it. It's like a little curtain that attaches to your, like, you open your back of your minivan and then it attaches to the top, and it's like just little buttons. You just like on your on the back of the van where the trunk is, and it's like a little curtain and allows you some space to change. And I've seen, there was like a soccer commercial, and then mom had to do a quick change or whatever, and she just like put up this little curtain, and I'm like, I kind of like that. I think we need to get one of those. So if anybody knows where we can find some of those, you go ahead and send me the link or whatnot, and that would be great because those are cool. And like I said, as she's getting older, it's a little harder to find places to change her in such a time frame. So I have to be like, oh, we only got a couple hours. Let's find. This cat scared the crap out of me. Let's find a place to go so we can change her and get this over with and be done, and then move on and get what we need to get done. I just want to say thank you all for being here, listening to this podcast today, and watching my video. If you're on YouTube, check back in about a week or so. I'm going to try to be more consistent of what day I post. And I hope this was informational for most of you, and hope you liked this episode. And hopefully we'll be able to share a little bit more on this and maybe get some things done to help kids and adults of that nature to be able to have a clean and private restroom to be able to get changed in, because it's important for everybody to be able to get out and do something, and do their thing and be able to experience life and not have to worry about those things that most of us worry about. So thank you again. And this is Christina with 40 and Unfiltered. Love you all.